If I had to pick 5 fragrances to pick out of my 3,500 fragrance collection, these would be them. What's going on, guys? My name's Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today I was looking at my collection and also a couple of comments where people were asking me what would be the 5 you would stick to. That question in itself is very difficult because I'm always getting new fragrances, but at the same time, we all have special places in our hearts for different fragrances depending on memories, and it's more than just, oh my God, this smells amazing, right? But for whatever it's worth, I do believe that this changes significantly from time to time, and some of which of these fragrances will consistently stay on this list, but also change depending on timing, depending on mood, depending on what's really in my face, because I could potentially have a lot of fragrances in a box in a different studio. For whatever it's worth, I looked at my collection today and said, you only have 5, Neeb. Which one are you picking? So let's go ahead and get started. I only wanted to stick to 5 because these should be 5 that really move me and also move a lot of people and are significant enough to purchase. So starting things off with something that's fresher on the fresh side of things, but also very sophisticated and elegant. It's not going to be for everybody because it has a very polarizing note of vetiver. This is called Terre d'Hermès Eau Intense Vetiver. Now, when I first started my journey in fragrance, I really didn't like grapefruit and vetiver. And to this day, I'm still not the most fond of the note of grapefruit. This, however, has a pretty intensive dose of some citruses and along with that note of vetiver. Now, the relationship between vetiver and grapefruit is more significant than you might think. The note of vetiver in itself has undertones of grapefruit. It smells like very dry and brittle woods. Imagine just very thin twigs, pencils, snapping pencils. Just a little bit drier than that. And also a little bit bitter, hence the correlation to the grapefruit. But for whatever it's worth, my ties to this fragrance is what bumped it up significantly. I now love this fragrance. Any vacation I've been to, traveling to the East, most hotels and luxury places will smell almost like this. Some kind of citrus, maybe a mandarin and vetiver, and that's it. That's why this one has climbed up the ranks. I could not go without this fragrance. I will always have this in my collection. It smells like class, sophistication, masculinity, and in every good way. Very neutral as well. And when you do get into the scent profile, it ends up being like just something that cannot be replicated. However, unfortunately for any other fragrance that tries to do citrus and vetiver, it's almost always going to smell like this because of how specific using these notes are, right? And just like other fragrances that use cherry, you're almost always going to think that they smell somewhat alike. So in terms of its performance, this is one that gives me, I would say, up to 9 hours. And the sprays for this, I'd go anywhere from like 7 to about 10 sprays, and I'm set for the entire day. Now moving on to the next one. This will take us back into a realm that's more naturalistic, but ambery and darker and a little bit sweet. Very sophisticated and unisex in my opinion. It's very naturalistic smelling too, and it's a niche fragrance, and in fact, I think this would be considered indie niche. And for the price, it's outstanding. This is called EPC's Amber Iris. I will never get rid of this in my collection. Look at oh my God. So working with a lot of natural ingredients, specifically iris, specifically working with some ambers, which is a mashup of like benzoin, a lot of resins, maybe some labdanum, etc. You get this vanillic, warm, ambery, and sometimes waxy style of fragrance. This one couples it with one of my favorite fragrance notes, iris, this buttery texture and quality, and you end up with something like this. Outstanding for number 1, the price, and number 2, the value and the quality of this one. Smells naturalistic, and it's going to stay in my collection forever. It's called Experimental Perfumes Club Amber Iris. The sprays with this one, you don't need any more than about 5 to 6 sprays because it lasts all day and it projects. It's absolutely incredible. I will never get rid of it. One of these is going to be a little bit surprising, and honestly, it surprised me because when I picked it out, it was easy for me to pick out, but then I was like, really, this one? And I sniffed it and I was like, yeah, definitely this one. This is Dior Homme Parfum, the new one. Believe it or not, you guys, I mean, look, I am heartbroken about the old one getting discontinued and reformulated. Well, changed completely, but I still freaking love this. It has that sophistication, that, high-end luxury vibe that you'll get with a lot of the new Dior Hommes, done to the best scent profile. It takes that Dior Homme 2020, adds more sophistication, even adds more of a resinous and dense and rich vibe that the original in itself was missing. Obviously, understandably so, because it's going more towards the fresher realm. This one takes it into a nighttime, super sexy and sophisticated. It has a shadow of what it used to be from that touch of iris that only lives on for about 2 to 3 minutes, but still the fragrance is outstanding. For whatever it's worth, I still do pick up like Ultramol in the air whenever I wear this, but I still get everything else that this fragrance comes with too. I loved Ultramol. This one smells better. Dior Homme Parfum, I have about 5 bottles of that. I'm good, bro. But the mass appeal, this is incredible, you guys. If you're an avid collector like myself and you love that DNA, try and get over it. And after you get past that, rock this. honestly, it'll always stay in my collection. So I know MFK was getting a lot of hate for a lot of his perfumes. It's more so undeserved, honestly, but I feel like it's all directed towards that because of what it used to be. I feel if they did an entire different line that he perfumed, they definitely would have appreciated his fragrances a little bit more. But if you can just look past that, I mean, I don't know MFK. I've met a lot of perfumers, but I don't know him. And honestly, I'm not saying I don't care. What I'm telling you the truth is that these on their own, I think would have done such a better job. So I understand why people are hating on it, but for me, it's incredible. Don't listen to the hate, go spray it on and check it out yourself. Also lasts pretty much the entire day, but not only is it a sexy scent profile, but it's also something that's pretty versatile. I wore it to the gym. Obviously it's not gonna be the most appropriate, but it did okay at the gym. Sprayed it on about 8 times. It lasted a good 8 to 9, maybe even 10 hours. So there you go. Moving on to the next one is a love of mine. I'll always have this in my collection, man. It's just so rich. It's so dark. It smells like maybe peanut butter, library, old library books, some cacao. It's Kilian's Black Phantom. A lot of people get this peanut butter accord, and I personally love peanut butter, but for me personally, I get like an old library books or old treasure chest. It's just so sophisticated, so unusual, but so sexy. It's very dark, it's not safe, but I love everything that this is about. Against the grain, rich, resinous, unapologetic, and so good. The only thing about this one is that the projection is straight dookie. The projection is virtually non-present, but in the scent profile that it is, it's understandably so. So Black Phantom, it smells fantastic. It is a skin scent, but my God, when they come in close, it's game over. You get close enough and you just reel it in, boys.
You reel it in.
Moving on to the last one. This one is completely against the grain. And before I give you guys the last one, I want to mention and note that yes, I wanted to place my fragrances, AROMATIX, Carnal Desire, and Royal Taboo, these two here. But I don't feel it would be fair, and obviously it'll come with some biases. But for whatever it's worth, I would absolutely keep my own fragrances, both of which are available at jomashop.com, and you can pick this up right now for less than 60 bucks. Niche quality juice, these are oils that we did not skimp in quality whatsoever. Custom bottles that were not cheap, but we're making it affordable and making it cheap for you to be able to grab some niche quality stuff, because these fragrances and even the designer is not that affordable either. This is at least, what is this? 180 bucks. So for whatever it's worth, they're very strong and they're very good. I'd also always keep it in my collection, but it's mine. I mean, of course it's always gonna be in my collection. So moving on to the last one, and in order to keep this as genuine as possible, although that is genuine, it's gonna be this. It's called Asil Special Edition by Arabian Oud. And this is a blast of saffron, rose, and caramel. And my God, it's crazy. It'll definitely give you Montal's intense cafe vibes, but and some. And the and some is the caramel. So it gives you that very sparkling saffron and rose combination with a very dense acid dose of that caramel. Simple, but very complex. It's a tri-layered fragrance to my nose. It doesn't really have too much going on, and it doesn't really transition that much either, but it's so intense in each one of those accords or nuances that I personally get that it's just next level stuff. You spray this on, it'll last the entire day. It does have a metallic vibe to it. It's not like to the point where it gives me personally headaches, and it's extremely unisex. This is extremely oriental and very, very strong. You have been warned. I would not spray this more than anything than like 6 sprays, honestly. Whereas Black Phantom, I've sprayed it up to like 12 sprays. So you have been warned. It's only good for the wintertime, but I would absolutely keep this in my collection. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 5 fragrances that I would keep in my collection right this moment. Could it change next month or the month after? Yeah, potentially. Maybe it's warm outside. Maybe I came across a bunch of new bangers, but to be honest, these are significant enough to see consistently come up in some of those must-keep lists. My name is Neeb. Let me know down in the comment section your one fragrance that if you had to ditch them all, you would keep. And make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.